Hey everybody, Countdown VHS here with another look at Strategos. This is a bit sooner than I planned to make a video on this game, but I learned recently that the free demo, which is what I'm looking at here, will be closing within the week of my recording. This is May the 7th, I want to say. So by the time you see this video, depending on how quickly I get it uploaded, the free demo may well be closed. And I'm not sure if they will have a secondary demo or if they're just going to hold off again until the release. My understanding is that this game is set to come out at the end of 2025. It would be great if there was another demo period. I think the developer mentioned on the Discord for this game that he was considering the possibility of opening up another demo during another Steam Fest or some kind of event. So I'll keep your eyes open for that. I know I will. I have had a lot of fun with my, with this game in the time that I've had it. Played through the tutorials, played through maybe half a dozen of the historical battle simulators here. So we'll just take a look at those. This version of the demo, by the way, is relatively recently updated in that it has added a fourth culture or fourth civilization type to the possibilities for these demo battles. It also adds a new battle map. And that is the Macedonian, the late successors. They also have the option of going, I guess, straight up Macedonian or having some Illyrian allies along with them. So that's sort of interesting. And the other cultures are the Roman, which is currently just the plebeian Roman, late Carthaginian, and they can all have different versions of allies. So you can have a more Iberian-focused Carthaginian army, or a more Numidian-focused Carthaginian army, or just kind of go the straight-up Carthaginian, which does nevertheless have some interesting variety. Probably my favorite army is Carthage because of the variety, based on what I've seen so far. And then also Pyrrhus, which is another, kind of similar to Macedonian and Carthaginian, I guess, in that they have, some strong kind of phalanx units, as well as a mix of cav and javelins. Rome is the one that's very different from all the others in its armies, as you would imagine. But let's go with a I'm kind of curious to go Macedonian versus Pyrrhic here, just to have some armies that are rather similar, and let's keep it kind of bog standard. I want to go more with the phalanx and hoplites fighting each other. Although, interestingly, Pyrrhic, you can also get some Terratine allies, so some sort of southern Italian guys, or Samnites, which are maybe more flexible infantry types. I'm not quite sure. Haven't played with those yet, but let's go straight Macedonian versus straight Pyrrhic. And the new map type is the grassy flatland. Let's give that a shot. The others are the rolling hills and then the desert lowlands. And we can, adjust various things. Let's go with the grassy flatland. I'm going to try this. Okay, so this switches the side. So the player is the Pyrrhic, and actually I want to play Macedonian. So we'll have you. Oh, actually, we can do Macedon versus Macedon. Interesting. I didn't know that. So let's do this. I want to start on the other side of the map, and I just want to do maybe one last battle here before the game releases, potentially, if they don't do any more free demos. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing. I'm coming at this game from a Total War perspective. And, full disclosure, I've never played Field of Glory, although I do have, I think, Field of Glory 2 in my Steam library, just never got around to playing it yet. And so I have no experience with the kind of war game tabletop simulation that this game is really trying to emulate. I looked at this and saw a game that looked graphically kind of similar to Rome Total War and was in real time and still used units. And so the game is very accessible to someone like me who has, all of my strategy experience is basically Total War games. But it introduces a lot of mechanics which seem very fresh to me, but probably are much more familiar to people who are coming at it from that kind of Field of Glory turn-based tactical game background. So the things that I am looking forward to seeing as this game continues development, and by the way, you can get into their Discord and see lots of people talk about this in a much more informed way than I am. And you can also, offer suggestions. The developer is active in the forum, and it's It's really interesting to see the game coming together and see ideas being brought up, taken into consideration, and watch changes come in. But the things that I would like to see, and I'm not sure if this is something that needs to happen in the game or if it's something that I just need to get used to as a player, and that is reading the UI. To me, that is, I think, the biggest challenge right now, and I think it will come eventually with time. But there is, as you'll see in a minute here, there's a lot of information that is conveyed in the UI, and there is a manual, and the tutorials do walk you through it. But getting into a sort of full battle with lots of units who are more aggressive is certainly a wake-up call from the relatively passive and slow paces of those first couple of tutorial battles, which is good. I want something that's going to challenge me. You know, as long as I don't feel like I'm wrestling with the controls, which I'm not in this game. You know, it doesn't feel like I'm trying to fight against the systems of the game. It's just that they're a little opaque to me at this point. And I'm honestly not sure if this is something that is solved through a more robust manual. We can take a look at that really quickly here. And so here it is. Very kind of basic information. You've got the camera stuff. What do you do to move units around, to select them? How do you use the buttons? What do they mean? But this is all very, very brief. I imagine this is going to be refined as development continues. Very useful general advice here. And you know, some things to keep in mind. This is probably a big one for Total War players. Overlapping friendly units hinder each other, and that is a problem. There are combat malices that are applied, and so you want to keep units out of each other's way, which is something that typically you don't have to worry about too much in Total War. I know Medieval 1 and therefore probably Shogun 1 had a mechanic where if units were overlapping, their fighting effectiveness was reduced, but I don't know that the later games really did that so much. Even like Rome Total War, I don't know if that really applied, but it does here. Morale, cohesion. The victory conditions for this game are interesting as well, because it's not killing everybody or routing everybody off the field. It is 65%. But that 65% is calculated in a weighted manner. That is, units are more valuable depending on their class. So if it is a heavy unit, it's worth 2 points. And if it is a general unit, it's worth, I guess, 2 points as well. All the other units that are light are just worth 1. So you want to route the guys that are heavier, the generals, of course, and that's how you get to the magic 65% number to win. So you want to see 65% show up on your enemy's bar. So that's going to be, I'm the Macedonians here, they're the Pyrrhic, so I want to see 65% get up there. What else? There's all this other stuff here. This is probably, if I were to spend a little more time with the game, this is where I would learn a lot more. But it is kind of a lot to digest, I guess. There's also these other elements where we have it's just sort of charts on impact. What does this do for POA? And I can't remember. Someone in the comments last time, points of advantage, I think is what this means, right? Points of advantage. And what I don't know is exactly what that translates into, right? Is this what determines whether you win the clash or not? So anyway, that's all stuff for me eventually to find out, because I really do enjoy how this game plays. So let's close this out. Let's take a look at our units. One thing that I learned in the first video, I complained a little bit about the camera handling. And my complaint was really just an aesthetic one. I wanted to swoop down closely and zoom in to see the units from the front. And you can zoom down with a mouse wheel pretty straightforwardly. You can hold the mouse wheel and sort of turn it like that. But what I wasn't noticing, right, when you try to go around to the front, it spins you out wide. If you go all the way down to the bottom, then you get this nice tight rotate. So you can now sort of move around in a more, more straightforward way. Here's my silver shields. The Argyraspides, this is a heavy unit. We've got bronze shields as well. Chalcaspides, I don't know how to pronounce these, and I only know that that's what they mean because, I've played this game a little bit, so I did pick that up. What else do we have? We've got light javelin men. We've got a bunch of the phalanx units, as you would expect for a Macedonian force. We've also got thoracitai, I guess. These look like medium infantry, pretty decently well armed. And then we have another unit, Thoriophoroi, which is a medium unit as well, but I'm not quite sure. This is one area where, maybe this is in the manual and I just skipped past it, but they are counted as a protected unit in terms of their armor, but it looks very light, whereas the Thorakitai have some armor, and that looks heavier. So I'm not sure if protected is worse than some armor or not, and maybe there's other benefits in that maybe these guys are a little more mobile if they have less armor, right? So it's lots of things. Okay, so actually this says looser order, but wear good armor. Okay, looser order. So anyway, these guys are less armored, but protected, I suppose, means that they have some armor. Not quite sure. We also have a couple of cav units. These are the Greek light cav. I don't actually think I've ever played just a straight-up Macedonian army before because I've always added the Illyrians. So this is light Jav cav, which is a little bit different. The Illyrian cavalry, I think, is heavy. And our general is a Hippeus unit, and so that's good. We actually have 2 generals in this battle. So one of the main draws for this, if you've seen the any of the coverage of this game on various YouTube channels, is the command system, where if you have a unit that is outside one of these blue circles, the nearest general needs to send a courier over to it in order for this unit to receive its orders. And so that's a great system. It makes you think about where your generals are placed, which, is very sensible, but it also adds a bit of a delay to battles, and there's no real way around it. Your generals are going to have a fixed, radius of control, and that doesn't seem to get better. You have a couple of generals per battle. I don't know if you can ever get more than 2 or fewer than 2. The other thing I'm not sure about is which one of these, if any, is the highest ranked general, or do they both count the same? Like, is there a bigger, coming from Total War, there's like one guy who commands, but I'm not sure if that's the case here. So it might be that these are actually equally ranked, and there's no greater benefit to taking out either one of them. So anyway, the pace means that you have to play this a little more deliberately. But one thing that I would really love to do, and maybe you can help me with this if you're familiar with the demo, is get out of my Total War micro habit. Because with Total War games, of course, your cavalry turns on a dime, and you can micro them to an inch of their life, and that's how you win battles, by getting good at micromanaging your units. That is something that very much goes against the spirit of this game, right? Where the goal is to not even give actually attack orders most of the time, because units have this impetuous charge range overlay. This is the anarchy zone. And that means that if a unit enters this red circle, that unit will engage with it. I don't know if there's ways to prevent them from engaging with it. Maybe that's what the guard mode is for some of these units. But at any rate, you don't need to give individual attack orders. You get your units close to an enemy unit, and they will kind of take care of it. That's the idea. But in practice, I find myself trying to micro my cavalry around, trying to micro units to flank, and then my battle lines get kind of a mess. I see lots of other people's battles on the Discord where they have these beautiful phalanx struggles, which are just phalanx line versus phalanx line. It looks gorgeous, and I want to get that to happen too. So I'm not sure if I can do that here. Now, the other thing I'm not sure about is, we talked about units overlapping each other, and it seems to me like these guys would disrupt another unit that they ran back through, right? So I'm a little wary of having them right in the front as a screen, because it seems like they would get the guys behind them in trouble. Well, maybe I'll just leave them there for now, because that's the way they are originally, and we'll just watch that. So we've got 2 cav units. I think what the game is wanting me to do, perhaps, is to get my cavalry together under the command of this cavalry unit, this general. And so again, with that command overlay, he can easily give orders to all of them. So I've got one wing that can act independently of this army, but this army really has to stay together, or I guess it doesn't have to, but orders will come on slowly for units that are beyond the general's radius. So because of that, I think it might make sense to have this unit actually right behind the general, or maybe I'll put the lighter guys behind the general. Again, I'm assuming they are a little bit lighter. Now we've got the Thorakitai with their armor, with the mail on the flanks. We've got the Thuriopheroi, which are protected, right behind the general, so we can quickly give him like some more elaborate commands using, you know, larger move orders. Okay, so this is a Pyrrhic force. They're all taking their first move. Let's get a little look at what they've got. All right, mercenary hoplites here. Pez Hetai Roy. All right, a lot of those. And then hoplites. So these are not mercenaries. Their general looks like they only have one, or possibly they have two. I'm kind of surprised. Okay, they do have a second one. He's way over here, and this is a cavalry unit. Oh, Hellenistic Greek cavalry. Okay, I don't know if I've actually fought them, because again, I usually give them different allies. Alright, so that looks pretty decent, actually. I'm going to keep these guys pretty close, because he's out by himself. So we're going to get close enough to be within firing range. That yellow circle, you can guess, indicates the range of fire, so I think that'll be close enough. We'll probably go to them to charge. We're going to have to live with this. We are going to be attacked by Greek light cav and Greek armored cav, which actually I really don't like the sound of. Okay, so what we'll do is we're gonna actually change things up here. I think I want to keep you guys there, but a little bit. But you see what I'm doing? I'm microing. All right, so we just changed their facing. Now, we do have a courier coming over who is slightly, you know, altering those orders. They got an auto first move, so that's what it was. That's what allowed them to move very quickly that first time. All right, do I want to move up here? I think I might. And they've got, oh, they've got archers. Okay, so we'll move a little bit closer. These guys are probably going to get wrecked. Let's move up. I keep accidentally pressing pause. I've been playing some Shogun 2 lately, so the commands, the controls are getting kind of mixed up in my mind. All right, so you guys are going to go here to sort of overlap this unit, which actually, now that he's moved, I need to move you a little bit. That's going to take another courier. See, there he goes. But it's fine. We're not actually in combat just yet. And with all of these units, I kind of want to keep them where they are. I think what I'll try this time is you 3 units can be on guard mode, and maybe you guys all on this wing can be in pushback mode, where when you engage, the idea is that they will push through the enemy, and maybe that'll open up something. I don't know. Okay, so battle is happening here. You see, I didn't do anything, but we just kind of went in for it. We're definitely attacking them. I think we're going to win over here. Did we just withdraw? Yeah, I think sometimes units just withdraw. But here we go. We're coming in. They are fragmented. Again, I don't know exactly why they're fragmented or what that means. I assume that's them and not us. Now, these tooltips, you can mouse over the combat, and you can actually get more information than what is showing here, I believe. Okay, so here we are. We're just going to have to suck this up. Let's guard mode and guard mode with you. I just want you guys to stay put. All right, they're going to run through. Now, what's going to happen here? Yeah, we've got little down arrows. Okay, so this is a bit of a problem. All right, we'll get the hoplites pushing in towards my bronze shields. Oh, what did we rout? We routed somebody. Oh, wow, okay. All right, the general... Okay, this is a pushback unit. Okay, that's why this is happening. Wow, okay, that's very surprising. Whoa, all right, this is actually exactly what I wanted. This is gorgeous. I don't want to take my eyes off of it. Oh, this is great. All right, let's get some dust shots. All right, what's going to happen here? They push us back. All right, I don't know exactly why. Maybe they are a better unit than we are. They are, what are they? Hoplites. I would think that we would be better. Okay, what's this? This is my guys. What? Or wait, no. That's theirs. Okay. I am not blue. Alright, let's go here. Let's actually get the light guys. We need to start working on this. Okay. I'm going to give a move order. It's going to take some time for that order to be received. We're fighting, so their cavalry attacked the Thuriaphoroi, and we'll see how well we hold. We get a D. Why is that? Is that because we are disciplined or because we are dead? I don't know. Okay, they recoil held. I don't know what that means. Alright, we'll just stay there. We are pushing in on the center. Very nice. I think that's going to work out. And in fact, I'm going to give them an attack order to chase down those light archers. Now, maybe I shouldn't because that's 2 units getting bunched up. Alright, so I brought them up here. And these guys are being pushed back. They are they routing? You see, this is the thing. I don't exactly know what this means. Because they lost their flag completely, and I think they're off the field. Just totally off the field. Right, why can we not take you out? I'll give you an attack order. Target is routing, but they're not, like, shattered, I guess. Alright, so what we're going to do is this. Okay, now they're dispersed. That's what we want. So this is going great. 29% dispersed for them, 0 for us. We're just holding here. Their cavalry general has attacked our silver shields on the front, and that didn't work out for him. Our general's still doing well here, I think. All right, let's bring you over. Okay, we got a little bit caught here, so let's now hit the back. Actually, this is a very weird battle, right? Because this is one of ours, and then this is one of ours, and I don't know how this happened. But I think in the course of pushing back units, your own units can get dispersed and spread around the battlefield. And look how we are just pushing them through. But that was like an auto... okay, that was not dispersed. That was a disorder. There's an auto drop. I don't know exactly what that means. Sounds bad for them. Let's actually change the attack over here because this guy would then be surrounded. All right, are you going in? All right, they are disordered. I think this unit's going to go as well. We're up to 58. We're going to win this, I think, in a couple of seconds here. I think it's just going to take another couple of units to decide that they're really gone. But we have, in the meantime, lost this. So I'm going to send my general over here against that cav. And there we go. That's all it took. So sometimes, I guess one complaint I have, if that is, you know, a complaint, is that battles do end very suddenly. And it's not always clear to me just what did it, what tipped things over. You're just kind of watching things unfold, maybe very concerned about a flank, and then all of a sudden you get that notification that the battle is won. So it seems a little sudden. Now, that said, I like the idea of victory not requiring a total annihilation or total routing of the enemy's forces. That seems a little more historically accurate to me, because now they're just down to like these light archers and their cavalry, but we've done very well. So the sort of the flow of the battle is one thing I'm still wrapping my head around, right? Does the flow kind of make sense for what I was doing? If I did the pushback, does that explain why my units got sort of messed up over here? And it's just not like a nice, neat and tidy sort of phalanx wall. But regardless, this went better than I was even expecting, because we got to see that for a little while before we started pushing in, and then dispersed the rest of the army. Well, let's go back to the main menu here. So yeah, I'm really enjoying my time with it. You know, maybe a couple of minor changes to the camera just to make it a little easier for me to spin around. I would love that. A little bit more, you know, dumbing it down maybe for the total war babies among us who have to suddenly learn all this hardcore wargaming stuff. You know, again, I don't think it's going to be that much of a leap. That's why I sort of you know, have been following this with great interest. In terms of a campaign, if you know about this game, you probably know that there are plans for campaigns to be released, and the idea, as I understand it, is that they will be potentially more robust than simply a series of linked battles. Now, we're not looking for anything like a Total War style campaign. I know in the first video I did of this, I was very excited for something like that, like maybe a medieval Total War map where you could just sort of move armies around. But it occurred to me that I don't need much more than that. There is a game that I just saw. The dev is releasing some sort of updates on how that is going. I believe the name of it is Master of Command. And so they just did a video release on their campaigns. It's similar in some ways to this in that it is a sort of a battle-focused game, but the campaigns are a series of like kind of choices you have to make as you move into enemy territory. You might have to, be given prompts to make certain decisions. Something along those lines would be great. I think for a lot of us, Total War people, the word campaign is really not used incorrectly, but it's used in a very different way than military guys would understand it, right? Like a campaign is a more limited operation, right? Like where you've got a particular objective and the goal is to do this particular thing. When we talk about campaigns in Total War, it's like campaigns in Dungeons and Dragons or something. It's just this kind of potentially never-ending series of choices you have to make and just basically running your world. It's like the entire game that you play is the campaign. Well, I don't need a world-spanning campaign or a kingdom-running campaign, but like a military campaign where I'm a general, right? Where like I'm Alexander and now we're in Asia Minor and now we're going down the Levant and now we're going into Egypt. How is this going to work out, right? And what about Babylon? And where we have to make some decisions from battle to battle. So there is some brain power that you have to engage in, and so that the battles do have a bit of meaning from one to the next. That would be awesome. So I'm hoping that works out really well. The other thing that's occurring to me, and someone mentioned this in the Discord, was replays, because that would be really helpful for me to learn what I'm seeing, I think. If I could replay that battle that I just fought and, pause and really look at the tooltips and what those are telling me, because there's a lot of information on those, then I think I would learn the game a lot better. Now, that said, maybe that's a ton of work to implement. And to be perfectly honest, once I get the game, I'm probably not going to watch the replays all that much. Maybe that's what reenactments is all about, actually. But regardless, that's probably a good point for us to stop the video here. If you're interested in Strategos, check it out. See if the demo is still up in the next few days. Hopefully it will be, or hopefully there will be another opportunity, maybe in the fall or in the summer even, for us to take another look at this really interesting looking game. Take care until the next video, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye, everybody.